Hello, this is the English podcast with Luke, Andy, and Peyton. We are going to be talking about the Wife of Bath's tale, a part of the Canterbury Tales, written in the medieval ages about that time. Okay, so I'm going to be doing the story recap. So the Wife of Bath tale is told by the Wife of Bath. It's about a knight of the Round Table, okay? So this knight, okay, so frivolous, okay, so holy, okay? Sexually assaults a young maiden, so not very frivolous. And he gets sentenced by the queen of the land. The queen tells him that if he wants his life spared, he has 12 months and a day to find what all women really want. Or like specifically said, what all women desire. So he goes around the entirety of England, and he can't find it, okay? 12 months and a day, he can't find it. He asks all sorts of women, well, primarily men, he doesn't talk to many women. As it's winding down, okay, and he has to go back to the queen to get executed, he's walking or riding on a horse down a road when he sees 20 naked women, okay, dancing, you know? Well, then they all disappear, and then there's this old hag, okay, old woman, all right? Well, he is desperate, okay? So he walks up to this old woman and is like, what is the thing all women truly desire? So she tells him, in the story we're not told yet, well, he goes back to the queen, okay? And the queen and her court of other women ask him, like, what's the thing that women truly desire? Well, he says sovereignty over their husbands. And according to the story, there's not a single woman in that court that can say otherwise. So he gets his life spared, but he made a promise to that old hag that by using that answer, he would essentially selling his soul to her, okay? So she appears in this court of women and says, I told him that. And because I made a promise to him, I have to be his wife. Well, the knight hates this, okay, and begs desperately not for this to happen. But the queen says it is so because it is a promise. So they get married, okay? It's stated that in their entire wedding, they, I believe, don't see each other, right? They don't see each other. So real fun wedding, I imagine. Horrible wedding. The night of, okay, after the wedding, they're in bed together, okay? He's telling her, like, oh, you're so ugly, I hate you. So he's, like, telling her all that, okay? Talking about how horrible of a wife she is, okay? They've been married for less than a day, note that. She tells him, okay, I'll give you a choice, okay? First she tells him, like, aren't I better because I'm old and so no other man will want me, so I can't be unfaithful? The knight really doesn't care and is still, like, ragging on her. So she says, okay, I'll give you a choice. Either I'm old and really faithful, okay, so no other man takes me and you have me forever, or I am beautiful and completely unfaithful and any one of your friends can come in and have me, take me, whatever, okay? Keeping it family friendly here, we're in school. Well, the knight, okay, is just done with this and says, whatever you want, okay? Giving her sovereignty over him, letting her make the decision of what he wants. So she, as a reward for him giving her sovereignty, becomes both beautiful and young and faithful to him. And that's kind of where the story ends, essentially.
Hi, my name is Andy, and I will be doing literary criticism focused on women, with Peyton Koss in the second half. The first question that was stated was, how is the relationship between men and women portrayed? The relationship is awful. Men are supposed to be chivalrous, but yet aren't. And the women are just supposed to take it all. But in this story, it explains quite clearly that it's not. What are the power relationships between men and women? Men have the least power and women are just powerful in this story. How are male and female roles defined? Males are put as jerks and only want beautiful women that are completely loyal to him and just do whatever he says. And it's in the story, it makes it seem that the females are all just control freaks and have a lot of power over them. What constitutes masculinity and femininity? Men are supposed to be chivalrous and women are supposed to be loyal to their man. But in this story, the men aren't chivalrous at all. In fact, he rapes a girl And the women are not loyal to the men because they simply just want to be in control of everything he does. How do characters embody these traits? They don't at all. The women don't seem to have all the power because they're still relying on the men for all of their deeds to be done, and the men still think they have the power, but they obviously don't, and they're supposed to be chivalrous, but they never are. Do characters take on traits from opposite genders? How so? Yes, in the story, women have power when back in that time, men would only have the power, which in that time, men would basically tell their wives if they started talking up, shut up, basically. And the women had no say whatsoever. But in this story, it makes it that the women have the most power in this situation. And now we pick up with Peyton with the other half of the questions.
So what does this work reveal about the operations, economically, politically, socially, or psychologically, of the patriarchy? Well, women have a lot of power compared to those times, and this implies about the possibilities of sisterhood as a mode of resisting the patriarchy, because a group of women basically came together to punish a man who abused his power. And this says a lot about their creativity because it brings a new perspective on the subject of those times. Now, what does the history of the work's reception by the public and by the critics tell us about the operation of the patriarchy? It was basically his opinion and against the political landscape at the time, and the role that women's work plays in terms of literary history and literary tradition is basically it gives them power and they are entitled to their own opinions.
And that's where we'll conclude this podcast. Thank you for listening. Bye.